This is Steve.
And this is Shawn.
This is Acro Media's High Five.
So, Steve, what are we going to talk about?
We're going to be talking about the topic of migrate.
Like with birds and wildebeests and stuff like that? Or
Similar, but in commerce. So in this case, migrate would be actually taking your entire commerce ecosystem on one platform and moving it to Drupal. Commerce 2.x, to be specific.
Very nice segue.
Thank you. Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, so you're moving your e-commerce platform, and that means there's a lot of parts to that, right? It's not just like I move my stuff to there. It's product, it's product variations, it's orders, it's customers, it's is it discounts, is it taxes, is it which parts of that are you moving? Is it coupons? Is it account balances? Is it user logins? There's actually tons and tons of things that can make up your site, and migrating those over, and which ones are and aren't you migrating, because you might only migrate maybe all your ordered data, but you input all updated products, or maybe you're not pulling over discounts. That can oftentimes be quite difficult to migrate because products have a price and a SKU and stuff like that. That's very standard, but a discount is oftentimes built very differently in different systems.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's 20% off, but sometimes it's tied to categories and product types and other stuff.
It's pretty much anything that you'd operate in a store, right? Like you have all that data. You have, like you said, you have your customers, your products. You have the past orders. You could even have your administration staff if you have user logins. There's so much you could migrate. So when we're actually building these migrate tools. How do we know we've done it all? Because I know we're migrating from UberCart, Commerce One, Shopify, Magento. Am I missing any?
Those are the main ones. We'll probably add more in the future. Those are the four that are.
And they're very different from one another. So how do we know that we've captured everything and it's working?
Well, I mean, two things. We start kind of from the most common stuff and work out. So we usually try to get the products and then the orders over first, and the most basic parts, and then we work our way out to customers, to discounts, to product classes, and we sort of go out and out and out. And how we kind of figure out whether we've got everything or not is we basically have sample sets that we test against for each of those migrates. So we actually have a number of, say, UberCart sites. We have sort of full databases of them, and we migrate them over, and then we see we go, oh, this part is missing and that part is missing, and then we continue to build those parts in, and then we test it and we see what we have now and what we have now. We sort of, work continuously on filling out, further and further edge cases and more narrow things, because getting, say, products done is really important. Everyone needs that. Making the tax rules migrate over, probably a lot less important. You can maybe you can just set those up yourself, or maybe you'll use some third party anyway, so it doesn't matter. You just keep using that same third party on a new site. And so we kind of go out from there. So say for UberCart, we have all the basics done for UberCart. If you want to do an UberCart to Commerce 2 migration right now, you can do it. Awesome. But you probably have to do a little bit of config and customize to get the edge cases and the bits and stuff like that. And we're working on having it so it's literally just like, here's my site, press a button, it all goes over or whatever, right? Still a couple months away from that, at least. And probably, a couple months is actually pretty close. And, that's going to be, more and more people will qualify for that as we go along. That's when it'll be like everything kind of goes over. And then Commerce One, it's close to that, although a little bit less. And then the Magento one's pretty basic, and the Shopify one's only more of a prototype at this point.
Got it. And I guess this will remove that barrier of being married to your platform, being locked in, and feeling like you can't actually exit and try out something new or try out something that might be better or might just be all alternate.
If you have to do that stuff manually, it is incredibly labor intensive, and it's really prone to failure. If you have to manually put over 10,000 products, you're going to screw up some of them. It's just not really possible to do them all flawlessly. Whereas if we can do migrates, hopefully it's all done, by a computer, and we've run a bunch of tests, and hopefully other people have done migrates, and we've sort of, banged out all the glitches in it, and you're going to get a lot more consistency in moving all your data around. And if you want to do it manually, it's honestly the thing where you're just like, let's start new.
Yep.
Just we'll tell our customers they won't get their old orders, because it's honestly easier. Like it might cost you, $100,000 of manual time to put those over, and that just might not be worth it.
Yeah, that's why we migrate.
Yeah.
And how much will migrate cost?
Will migrate cost? We're open source, so I don't know if it totally works that way.
That's the whole point I was making. The fact that we're just going to be releasing this out into the wild, so people can actually just migrate on their own.
Yeah. Yeah, and that is the idea, that hopefully you just push the button. If you've made custom stuff, other
Yeah.
things like that, you might have to, you either have to get an agency to do some custom work, you have to do some custom stuff of your own, but the more
That's
of it
very
that works
cool.
out of the box, the better. And also the more people that use it is actually really advantageous to us, because then we get more test cases. We've tested with some of the sample data we have, but everyone's commerce site can be a little bit different. So, you set up, inclusive taxes and exclusive taxes, and we only tested with one and not the other, or something like that, and to make sure that those all work.
Right on. What's the too long didn't read?
We're gonna have migrates for everything, and a bunch of them are already done. If you have an old UberCart 6 site, which is like Drupal 6 is deprecated, gets no more support, you should be able to upgrade with hopefully the click of a button.
Awesome. I imagine there might be some more questions on this topic, being that this is a fairly new initiative. So please put your questions below, and Shawn will do his best to answer them. If you have any comments, please do so below as well.
Also, you can follow us on Facebook, check out our blog at acromedia.com, follow me on Twitter, and also, just a little shout out, we've been doing almost all this work on Migrate, so a little props for us.